Now, just see if this sounds familiar. A rich, sarcastic man who is completely full of himself gets injured and heads over to Asia, where he gets trained by mysterious people to hone their craft to become a superhero, learning the error of his ways and becoming a better person. That's new!
That is hilarious.
Doctor Strange certainly lives up to his name as one of Marvel's most mysterious characters, but production on a feature film based on him dates back to the late 80s. The first attempt came in January 1986 when Bob Gale handed in a draft to New World Pictures, but production never went ahead. Another script was written in 1989 by Alex Cox and Stan Lee himself, and this version almost went into production at Regency Pictures. However, Regency was owned by Warner Brothers at the time, who were in a dispute with Marvel Comics over merchandising, so it never materialized. At around the same time, producer Charles Band finally got lucky and managed to option the Doctor Strange property from Marvel and began developing a film at his studio, Full Moon Entertainment. However, the rights expired before production could begin, and the project was reworked into the 1992 film Dr. Mordred, whose titular character was pretty much Doctor Strange in all but name.
This is useless.
Over the decades, multiple versions of Doctor Strange were pitched to Marvel by several writers and directors, including Wes Craven, David Goyer, Chuck Russell, Stephen Norrington, Guillermo del Toro, Neil Gaiman, Nikolai Arcel, and Dean Israelite, but all of them were turned down for one reason or another. Finally, in 2014, Kevin Feige confirmed that a Doctor Strange movie was in the works and would be part of Phase 3 of the MCU, selecting Scott Derrickson to direct and write the screenplay. Derrickson was a huge fan of the character in the comics, and when pitching the story to Marvel, he even took the time to animate a 90-minute reel of concept art that he had designed for the movie. The execs were so impressed that they not only hired him on the spot, but demanded that his presentation end up in the finished film.
You're not gonna like it.
Derrickson was originally dead set on writing the screenplay solo, but Marvel were worried that he wouldn't have the script ready in time, and hired two co-writers to help him, John Spates and C. Robert Cargan, both of whom were also huge Doctor Strange fans. The script went through many changes, as the original draft had Strange already as a fully formed sorcerer and featured Nightmare as the main antagonist, but it was altered so that the film could work as an origin story, and the villain was changed to Dormammu instead.
I don't understand what's happening.
When casting the Good Doctor, Tom Hardy, Jared Leto, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ethan Hawke, Oscar Isaac, Matthew McConaughey, Edgar Ramirez, Keanu Reeves, Colin Farrell and Ryan Gosling were all considered, and Joaquin Phoenix was also offered the part and actually came very close to doing it, but he eventually walked away as he was uncomfortable with working on such a big budget movie. Didn't stop him playing the Joker though, did it?
Oh, it's funny.
In the end, Marvel and Derrickson had always envisioned Benadryl Cumberland to play the role, and the actor was signed on in October 2014. By early 2015, the rest of the supporting cast had already been selected, but the casting of Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One proved to be very controversial. Firstly, the character in the comics was originally a Tibetan male, and the part had been offered to Morgan Freeman and Ken Watanabe, before they decided to change the character to a Celtic woman, claiming that they didn't want to portray the character as a stereotypical Asian monk. However, when Swinton's casting was announced, it was heavily criticised, and many accused Marvel of whitewashing the character.
This was a mistake.
Filming ran from November 2015 to April the next year, but there were further issues. The monastery that Strange visits was originally supposed to be filmed in Tibet, but Marvel feared that the Chinese government would try to stop production.
Which one of you decided to go and start bad-mouthing the Chinese government?
So the shooting location had to be switched to Nepal at the last minute. Furthermore, Mads Mikkelsen, who plays the villain, found it difficult to film his scenes, as he was often placed on a green screen and forced to react to things that weren't actually happening in front of him, which he felt affected his performance. He should try working with George Lucas.
It was suicide.
Doctor Strange was eventually released on November the 4th, 2016, and was yet another hit for Marvel, grossing $677 million worldwide, and was praised by critics, particularly for its visuals and Barbecue Croissant Hand's performance in the lead role. And they're right, the main thing the movie has going for itself is the visuals. The special effects are insane, and they really grab your attention. Later in the film, the world starts to split into different dimensions, and it looks insane. They outdid themselves here. It's like Inception meets The Matrix, but not as interesting. Yeah, the majority of the story is just Batman Begins or Iron Man. Even looks like Christian Bale with the beard, but I guess it changes enough for it to be different. The movie is just okay. There's nothing really that pulls me in outside of the imagery. Brianna Chocolate Legs gives a great performance, but I think they get their characters mixed up a few times. Sometimes the movie writes in comedy, but it doesn't fit his character. It seems like it was written for Spider-Man or Ant-Man and not Doctor Strange.
You don't know how to use that, do you?
and some jokes are just painfully unfunny.
And you are?
Wong.
Wong. Just Wong? Like Adele? Or Aristotle? Drake? Bono? Eminem?
Though other times it's pretty good.
What's this, my mantra? The Wi-Fi password.
Although this wasn't planned. The broom wasn't actually supposed to fall over, so this is Rachel McAdams' genuine reaction. The first time we see Bacon join Carrot stance, it's a pretty solid character introduction as he's having fun with his staff. But then it's all serious business. It shows how good he really is at the job.
No one could have done better.
I could have done better.
So much so, he just implies all the other surgeons are shit. Oh my god, it's Jada Pinkett Smith! But they really wanted us to feel sorry for the guy. He has the worst car crash in history! How the hell does he even survive it? Who slipped steroids into the morphine of Bubble Bath Cabbage Patch? The issue is, I really don't have that much sympathy for the guy. The car crash was entirely his fault for reckless driving. Now, you pretty much deserve it, dude. Yeah, on top of that, he's a completely unlikable douchebag.
Without my work.
Is still life. This isn't the end. There are other things that can give your life meaning.
Like what? Like you?
But to be fair, if we can grow to love Tony Stark, there's hope for this guy. Give him 4 more movies, we'll see where we are. The thing is, they do kind of get the sympathy out of you quite quickly. Despite him causing the crash and being a massive dick waffle, he's lost all of his work, and Bubble Bath Cracklestamp's performance is so good, you do feel bad for the asshole. How do they do that? There's a really interesting scene later where he actually kills a man and is completely horrified, realizing what he's done as it goes against his entire career.
You reject the possibility.
No, I reject it because I do not believe in fairy tales about chakras or energy or the power of belief. There is no such thing as spirit.
Yeah! Just Gods of Thunder, Incredible Hulk, super duper soldiers that get frozen for 70 years, people with super speed, magical witches, but this is silly. It is quite interesting as they go over how the human body heals itself, and they lead him on to believe they naturally heal the cells before, fuck it, it's magic.
We do not tamper with natural law.
Is any of the shit you do natural? And she has a lot of sass for an ancient one.
Have you seen that before in a gift shop?
But who the hell sends emails with font this big? Is she blind? Or is he? It's also so dumb that his cape is alive.
It's not a cape, it's a cloak.
Yeah, apparently we're in Aladdin now. But it's a cape and not a carpet. It even beat someone up. This is from Beauty and the Beast, not Doctor Strange.
Stop.
Okay, that was a little bit funny. But after hyping the Ancient One as this powerful immortal being, Marvel really have a tendency to do that and then kill them off with a single fucking stab wound. Oh no! Superman! He's been killed by a bee! Blink Toes Crumble Hands ends up controlling time, and we've basically entered Richard Donner's Superman now, where nothing matters because he could just rewind time. He literally resurrects his bud, which means they could have saved the Ancient One if they really wanted to, but now no death means anything because they can just undo it. Wait. Was it established that he could fly before? I mean, I'm not that surprised, but it's just a bit out of nowhere. Alright, the villain is also Thanos' less interesting brother. But what do you know, he kills Beetlejuice Catching Pants, but he manages to rewind time and has trapped them in a loop, so he ends up doing it over and over. The thing is, it is kind of funny, but it's not treated as such. It's treated like this big badass moment, but it clearly should be a comedy bit.
Yes. Yes, we did it.
What do you mean Banquet Nose Cannonfoot did all the work? You did nothing. Doctor Strange is... meh. It's not bad, but it's nothing that memorable. It's the same film we've seen before, but with magic thrown in. But without a solid enough story, all the pretty special effects and imagery just fall flat to me. It's maybe worth a watch to complete the whole series, but you don't really miss a lot if you give it a skip. That's new! Will you stop it? Bloody rats. Jesus Christ. That's new! Stop.